95% of women will, at some stage of their life, have to manage their own financial well-being. So it's really about time we broke this old, completely outdated paradigm that somehow it's the husband's role, or it's the man's role, it's the partner, or something else. No, embrace this and get excited about it. Because after all, the last time I looked, we had the same education as, the girls and boys. So no wonder we have conflict in the relationships, that we just assume that for the poor bloke is just meant to know how this stuff works. And heaven forbid if he admits that, we haven't been taught about this thing called money. But not knowing that these old recipes no longer work, I set off on that recipe, and really a recipe that I was starting to follow, of which ends up with 97% of people never achieve financial freedom. And 2 out of 3 people will have to rely on either their children, family, or the charity of strangers, or the government, just in order to survive in their old age. These are the kind of statistics that to me are barbaric, because it doesn't have to be this way if we just learn how to get this thing called money working for us. So I set off and thought, okay, I'm going to get a great education, because that's going to be the key. Because if I can get a good job and work really hard, that's the key to money. And then hope like hell it'll all be okay. I see this hope financial plan the whole time. Just hope that it will all be okay. Just hope that it'll all come together. Hope is a fantastic word. It's fantastic if you're shipwrecked at sea. It gives you something to hope onto. But it's a disastrous financial strategy. You need a proper, structured financial plan. You need to know what you're aiming at. You need to know the things you need to do in between, and you need to work that plan. So don't just hope. Take that leadership, take it in your life, and put this in place. So I set off, got a civil engineering degree, thinking that'll be good. And I got my first job, and money was everywhere. It was fantastic. Besides my student loan that I had, I was getting credit cards and store cards and the car loan. I thought, this money stuff's fantastic. I can have it all now, pay later, because after all, I was told that's what I was worth it. But not understanding money at all, I headed down, and it didn't take me long before I found myself in a big, deep hole of debt. And all of the fun and excitement and adventure of life, things I wanted to do, seemed to be drifting further and further away. And I thought, do I have to put all the dreams that I want in a pocket? Because now I was working for the money. In fact, I was working for the bank and Edgar's and everybody else except me. And that sense of, well, what happens if I lose my job? I won't be able to keep up these repayments. And that anxiety, that worry around money started coming and going, but this is exactly what I didn't want. I thought I was doing the right thing. And I'd been able to spend a bit of time with my dad while he was dying, and he had said, so this life goes so fast. Make sure you live it with passion and purpose. Have an adventure. Get out there. Make it really work for you. And I went, this doesn't feel like I'm doing that. My life was getting smaller and smaller and getting trapped. And I said, I've got to make a change. And I read a quote and said, if you're in a hole, you've got to stop digging. So stopping digging in terms of the debt meant putting down that plastic and stopping using it and making that decision. You've got to make a decision that there is another way. And I know debt has become such an insidious part of our life. So many of us think it's just the way it is. It just is the way life is, but it isn't. It doesn't have to be that way. And debt is an absolute parasite to our wealth. It's, for the women in the room, it's the proverbial candida. It eats away at things. So, I even went and got a bank loan to buy a red whitewater kayak because I thought, that was cool to raft down the Tugela. The crazy stuff. I chose to not understanding truly what that meant and what that cost was. So I decided to make a decision and change that. And I started reading books. I love books. And I thought there must be a way, there must be a different way, but I need to learn about this. And I've got to change this. And I've discovered some debt destruction strategies, some debt blitzing strategies, which are part of what I now sort of teach. And I decided to apply this in my life, became great at selling stuff and getting clear on what was important to me and knowing that it's only ever for a chapter. if you're changing direction, you need a lot of energy and fuel to go in, because a lot of people, oh, well, you know, I don't want to sacrifice or make that because that's for the rest of my life. But when you truly make a decision, you can put a lot of rocket fuel behind it and change the direction. And I really learned two key principles: that you've got to spend less than you earn. Fundamental principle. I'd love to tell you that there's another way, but it is a fundamental principle you've got to cover. And I'm not sure why that's coming out. And that this keep clear of consumer debt, and specifically speaking consumer debt, that absolutely going. So I thought, okay, I've now got this money stuff sussed. And in part of that journey, I'd also met a young man. We had decided to get married. I discovered he was even better at this money stuff than me, but no one had told him he had to pay off his credit cards. But anyway, between the two of us, we managed to get out of this. And suddenly we had enough money left over, and we were free, we were broken free of those chains of debt. I said, wow, we can actually go and have some of those adventures. So we decided to go and backpack, and I ended up in Hong Kong. And I went, whoa, this is a cool city. Maybe I can work here and get a job here. And so I did, because I had that freedom, I had that choice to be able to make those decisions. And I went, okay, I've sussed this money stuff now. I'm going to save as much as I can, save up a pot, and then I'll go and live the life that I want, because then it'll be good. And then I'll also feel safe. Well, all that happened, I'd swung from money bulimia, binging on money that I didn't have, to complete money anorexia. I swung to the other paradigm, thinking that if I held on to money, if I spent as little as I could, that I really deprived my life, then I'd be okay, then I'd feel safe. But the only thing that happened, that could happen, happened. A big money drama blew up. There was fights in a relationship all about scarcity, because the reality is our souls need to play. This life has got to be lived. But I wasn't allowing money to be fun. It was all about hard work and deprivation. So a big money drama blew up, and I can still distinctly remember that Tuesday day when both the husband and the money that I'd saved up walked out the door, and I went, oh, I don't really have this money stuff sorted yet, do I? But I decided, you know what, there must be another way. There must be a way that you can have both. You can have the life that you really want and master money and have it growing and feel confident and safe and secure around this thing, that my financial future would be okay. And I really learned that you've got to understand the difference between saving and investing. They're fundamentally different, because all I was doing was saving. It was this hoarding, trying to keep it in. But money wasn't working. Money wants to work. And that you need both saving and investing in your plan. But you've got to understand the difference.